It's election time in Kerala once again. A new state assembly will be in place by May of this year. Traditionally, the trend has been that every 5 years, the government in the state changes between the Left Democratic Front or the LDF, led by CPIM, and the United Democratic Front, led by Indian National Congress. Since 2016, it is the LDF led by Pinarayi Vijayan that is in power in the state. One of the issues being raised by the political parties in the state in the lead up to the elections, especially the opposition parties, in addition to the innumerable scams and scandals and corruption, nepotism, backdoor appointments, and political violence under Pinarayi Vijayan government, is another issue is that of Sabarimala temple. If you don't know, Sabarimala is a hilltop shrine dedicated to Ayyappa Swami, who is worshipped as a Naishtika Brahmachari. Now, I'm not going to translate Naishtika Brahmachari into English because there is no equivalent term for that in that language. But if you are an Indian, I'm sure you understand what it means or the ethos behind that term. One of the traditions that has been followed at the temple for thousands of years is that darshanam of Ayyappa Swami is restricted to only girls and women outside the reproductive age group. You may think this is regressive or irrational or discriminatory or whatever else. That's fine. It is what it is. But if you want to visit the temple, you have to obey the traditions that are in place and have been followed for thousands of years. If you don't want to because of your progressive ideology or whatever, just don't go to the temple. Neither you nor Ayyappa Swami is losing anything by you not visiting the temple. But since live and let live is a concept beyond the grasp of the progressives, they challenged the tradition in the Supreme Court, and in 2018 the court, which we are told is supposed to uphold the secular ideals of our constitution, that Supreme Court delivered a verdict invalidating the thousands of years old tradition of a religious institution. What followed was widespread protests in the state by the Hindus of Kerala, especially our women folk, like the kind you saw at the beginning of this video. In probably one of the worst demonstrations of undemocratic behavior by an elected government in the history of India, the Pinarayi government of Kerala took it upon itself to not only violently suppress the peaceful protests but also to orchestrate the desecration of the Sabarimala temple. They recruited young women from SFI, the students' wing of CPM, and DYFI, the youth wing of the party, to organize trips to the temple with armed police guard and full administrative support. Yet, the communists couldn't break the resistance mounted by the devout Hindus of Kerala. In the 2019 Lok Sabha elections that happened within a few months of Pinarayi's autocratic handling of Sabarimala agitation, CPM and LDF reaped full rewards of that action. LDF was defeated in 19 of the 20 Lok Sabha seats in the state, their worst ever performance since the state was formed. BJP played a major role in the later stages of the protest to defend Sabarimala, especially the current state unit president, K. Surendran. Of course, like everything Hindutva about that party, this too was with an eye on benefiting during the upcoming elections. Their state president at that time, Surendran Pilla, said so in as many words. Unfortunately for BJP, things quite didn't work out that way, and they continued the record of 0 MPs from the state. Congress and UDF ended up being the ultimate beneficiary of Pinarayi Vijayan's villainy and BJP's opportunistic politics. And they ended up with 19 of the 20 MPs that the state sends to the Lok Sabha. 2020 brought more pain for Pinarayi and LDF government. Though their formidable PR machinery initially managed to get them international acclaim or accolades for the way COVID pandemic was handled in the state, it soon turned to all-round negative press with the discovery of the gold smuggling scandal involving prominent people from the Chief Minister's office and the state government. CPM State Secretary at that time, Mr. Kodiyeri Balakrishnan, was forced to go on a medical leave because of a case involving drug smuggling by his son. Customs, ED, NCB, CBI, and every other lettered investigation agency of the central government was investigating the state government. But they recovered a lot of the lost ground after LDF managed an unexpected, spectacular performance in the local body elections held in November of 2020. UDF crashed to humiliating defeat from the highs of their 2019 Lok Sabha victory. BJP improved its position slightly without creating any major impact to the final results of the elections. UDF's defeat in the local body elections was primarily because of a major shift in the Christian vote bank towards the LDF. One of the major reasons for this shift was because one of the main Christian parties in the state, Mani Group of Kerala Congress, ditched UDF and joined the LDF. Christians were also allegedly upset with the growing influence of Muslim League and leaders like Kunyali Kutti within the UDF. In addition to Christians moving to LDF, a major chunk of Nair votes also moved away from UDF to BJP after the Sabarimala agitations. Now, if the Congress wants to win in the upcoming assembly elections in May, it goes without saying that they will have to reverse this trend and win back the votes of Christians and Nairs. And they are clearly awake to this reality. So, the Congress leaders are having meeting after meeting with the church leadership. There have been statements issued that Muslim League is only a minor player and it is the Congress that is in fact the leader of the UDF. Prominent Christian leader Oommen Chandy, who was Chief Minister of the state before 2016 elections, has been brought back out of cold storage after 4.5 years to lead Congress's election campaign committee. If these were the overtures to the Christians to win back the Nair votes, Congress has gone back to that issue which gave them the unprecedented victory in 2019, the Supreme Court verdict against Sabarimala traditions. Ramesh Chennithala, who has been the leader of opposition in the outgoing assembly elections for the last 4.5 years, and a Nair himself, declared that if elected to power, Congress would pass a law to protect the traditions of Sabarimala. It is, however, not clear if this offer is applicable only to that one temple or to other temples also in the state. It is something we have to keep in mind in the context of this issue. The Congress leadership at the national level, that is Rahul and Sonia Gandhi, do not really agree with this stand of the Kerala unit of Congress. In fact, at national level, Congress has consistently sided with those elements determined to desecrate not just Sabarimala but every Hindu institution. But that's how politics is in our country. This kind of fork-tongued strategy when it comes to issues affecting Hindus is not limited to just the Congress party. Even CPM and BJP have the same kind of attitude. After doing everything in its power and beyond to desecrate Sabarimala, CPM now says they regret what happened and prefer a consultative approach to resolve the issue in future. And BJP is determined to outdo both CPM and Congress. They have now declared that if voted to power, they will not only protect Sabarimala, but in fact go ahead and release all temples in the state from government control. If you have followed the Hindu politics in India, you definitely understand what a great news this is. How significant such a move could be to the future of Hindus in our own homeland. Liberation of temples from government control has been the demand of Hindu activists in India for a very long time. and no government of any party in center or in any state has ever shown even the slightest inclination to support such a demand. So, this kind of promise from a major political party would be a cause for celebration under normal circumstances. But there is a problem. There is no chance whatsoever that BJP could come to power after the 2021 assembly elections in Kerala. Even they know this very well. That's why they are making such statements. They know for sure there is no danger that they will have to act on it. Otherwise, there are so many states in India where BJP is in power. In states like Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh, they have been in power for decades now. In none of these states in all these years has any temple been liberated from the government control by the BJP. In fact, in the last few years, in states like Tripura, Himachal and Uttarakhand, BJP governments took over temples that were till then outside government control after they came to power. So clearly there is no reason to think BJP will do in Kerala exactly the opposite of what they have been doing in other states where they have been in power. This kind of announcement should only be seen as a continuation of their record of employing lip service to Hindu causes as a means to harvest Hindu votes. That's all for this bite from the basement. Hope you like this video. Please subscribe to the channel, like, comment and share this with your family and friends. Till I see you again, Namaste.